Hi everyone, welcome to my video. I am Raj. I am doing my master's degree in computer application at Marine College Kutiganam Autonomous. In this video, I would like to share with you how to start your Python project in Django framework. So that you need to install PyCharm, which is an editor that will provide an user-effective platform for the editors. Here I am handling the Python version 3.0.2. In this tutorial, we will walk through the creation of a basic poll application. It will consist of two parts. First one is a public site that lets people view polls and vote in them. And the second part is that an admin site that lets you add, change and delete the polls. We will assume you have Django installed already. So you can tell Django is installed and which version by running the following command in a shell prompt. That the command is python -m Django then version. When you press the enter key, you could get the version of Python in the PyCharm editor. In this part 1, we will see how to write your first Django app. For every project, for that, you should select the new project or create the new project from the file menu. So there are so many menus in the PyCharm editor. This is the PyCharm editor when you open. So from the file, you could select new project. From the new project, you will get like this. So the Django, select the Django, then you should specify the location where you want to keep your project. So here I am saving my project in Django, the D drive with a name. You can give the name of project as you wish. Then create it. Okay, here I created the project my site. I given the project name as my site. Also you can see the terminal here. To start the project, you need to give certain command on the terminal, such as Django -admin start project, then your project name. Here I given my site. This is a project name. Then the project has started my site. Inside that, certain Python files are there. The init.py, the file indicates an empty file that tells Python that this directory should be considered the Python package. Then settings.py, settings or configuration of for this Django project. This will tell you all about how settings work. Then urls.py, urls contain all the Python package name or the Python directory and all. Then WSGI will give an entry point for the compatible web servers to serve your project. Then manage.py is an important Python file which a command line utility that tells you interact with Django project in various ways. So you should ensure you are in the exact directory where you created the project. So you should change the directory using the cd command, like cd then your my site. So you should enter the my site. So then we are going to create the app. For that, using the command Django admin startup polls, then you refresh your project my site, then you could see the polls app. Inside the polls app, there are the same certain files. Apart from the mysite Python files, you could see apps.py, then models.py, test.py, views.py, such that. The models.py file, apps.py. In the apps.py, we do all the configuration codes inside that. Then models.py is the important Python file in the Python project using Django framework. So all the database codes are giving in the models.py. Then test.py, views.py. All these are Python files. In views.py, we do all the logical codes here. So Now we created the pole sub. So after that we should define the application which we are created, that is here the pole sub. To define the pole sub, we should select the settings.py in the main my site file. So select settings.py. You can see the installed apps section in that. So from there you should give in single quotes polls. Then you should give a comma at last. Then here you define the app name. Then you should define the views.py file. For that we are defining the file called index def to define the function def index. Then return http response. It is used to the http response keyword is used to what you want to display on the page of the browser. You should give that. Here I am giving welcome to Pulse Up in double quotes within the bracket after http response. After that in the polls you should select a Python file, that is to define the URLs Python file. So you given the name, then start the urls.py file. Here you should give the URL pattern equal to, in the square brackets you should mention the path. Here path, and already we have created the index in views.py file. So path views.index, and we need to import certain path files such as from Django.urls import path, from dot import views. Dot is to indicate the current file. Then in urls.py of the my site you have to give the path which we are to redirect to the URLs of the views code of Pulse Up. So we are using the keyword include to uh, get into the files of polls. So path include in the bracket polls.urls we are given. Now we are going to run the server. For that Python manage.py run server. Now we will get the link. So in that, when we click on that link, we are entering to the browser. You can see welcome to Pulse App. Okay guys, till now we have created the Pulse App successfully by doing all the codes in the view.py file, and we have set all the paths in urls.py file of Pulse App directory. Then we include the urls.py file of Pulse App into the urls.py file of my site directory, so that we could access the files in Pulse App when the browser activates. So after that we will see the concept of templates in Django framework. Template is used because the page's design is hard-coded in the view.py file. So if you want to change the way the page looks, then we have to edit this all Python code. So let's use Django's template system to separate the design from Python by creating a template that the view can use. For that, first we need to create a directory called templates in our polls directory. Then only the templates, the Django could see the templates are there. So the templates, because these templates in our project, this old template setting describes how Django will load and render the templates or the HTML files we are used in the template. The default settings file configures a Django templates backend host app directories option is set to true. Then then let's see how we can create the template file. For that we need to go to the my site file, then create new directory called templates. Then after that, in template we create a subdirectory called poles to identify the template files of poles app directory. Then create an index.html file in the poles directory. Then we are given the title as poles app. After that, inside the body we are defining a header with h1 tag, welcome to poles app, welcome to poles app. After that, we are going to the settings.py of my site. Then at there we have to mention the template directory path. For that, template underscore dir is equal to os.path.join inside the brackets base underscore dir comma in 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 single quotes we should mention the template's name. After that, we should go to the template section of settings.py. Under that, we should mention the template directory. Then go to the views.py of polsa. Then give the rendering command to redirect the page to the index.html file which we have created inside the polsub directories template folder. Okay, it's how done with the function definition. Then let's start the run server. Then click on the link. We could get the welcome to polsub index.html file in the browser. So come back to the editor. You could finish all the template settings. In Django framework or in the PyCharm editor, we are inserting all the HTML files in the template folder, and to define or to insert the CSS or JavaScript files, we will create another directory called static that we will see later. And in this part 4, we are creating our models. We should define our models, and it is essentially for our database layout with some additional metadata. Actually, what is model? The model is nothing but it is a single definitive source of truth about your data. It contains the essential field and behavior of the data that we are storing in our project. And Django follows the drive principle. That's a certain principle with and its goal is to define our data model in one place and automatically derives things from it. And in this creating models, it includes the migrations, like unlike in Ruby on some other frameworks. For example, migrations are entirely derived from our models file and are essentially a history that Django can roll through to update the database schema to match our current models. So, Polls app, we will create two models, question and choice. A question has a question and a publication date. Choice has two fields, the text of the choice and a vote tally. Each choice is associated with a question. These concepts are presented by Python classes, that is in model file. We are editing the codes, or we are doing the Python codes in the polls app in the file here in the polls app models.py. Then you can see views.py file. We are editing the codes all these files. Let's start. Open models.py. Here we are creating the question class. So class question, inside that models dot model. Here we are inheriting the model file in class question. So question text is equal to models dot char field. You should follow these codes as it is. So here each model is represented by a class, that subclass Django.db.models.model. Each model has a number of class variables, each of which represents a database field in the model. Each field is represented by an instance of a field class. Here we are using char field for character fields and date time field for date times. Then this tells Django what type of data each field holds. The name of each field instance is the field's name. So here we are defining a function str underscore underscore self. Then we are returning the self dot question text variable. Then here now we are creating the class choice. Then inherit the models from the model class as we are doing as we done in as we created the question class. So we are defining the variables and assigning with the foreign key and all char field, the instant fields, etc. You can use an optional first position argument to a field to designate a human readable name. That's used in a couple of introspective parts of Django, and uh, it doubles uh, it doubles the code. So we are using like this. If this field is not provided, Django will use the machine readable name. So you have done like this on delete models dot cascade. All these classes are these variables are the things which we are going to save in the database. So in the choice model we are creating question, choice text, then votes. These are the three variables we are uh, storing in the choice table of Paul's database. Also define a function with a self parameter to return the choice text. Okay, these are the codes for the creation of database in Paul's app. So let's start the uh, just see how these are going in database. We are doing the migrations. For the migration, python manage.py may. Okay, here we activated the models. So first, after that make migrations, you should give the code for the migrate. Then you get the successful result here. So the choice and question classes are created in the database. If you are using the professional version of PyCharm, you could get the database from here itself. Otherwise, you should install some other database application to view the creation of database and all. In the classes are available in the initial.py file. Now I am introducing the Django admin. By generating admin sites for the staff or clients to add, change and delete contents in tedious work that does not require much creativity. For that reason, Django entirely automates the creation of admin interfaces for models. So that now we are creating an admin user. Let's see how to do this. For that, we go to the admin.py file of Polsa. Then there we need to import certain files based on the classes we created in the models.py. For that, include from .models import question and choice. Question and choice is the model classes in the model file, model.py file. So then we given the code admin.site.register in brackets. We should mention the class model question. Then likewise we should define the register the choice. After that we should give, okay, we should come to the terminal, then give python manage.py create super user to create the admin. Then we should give the username as admin, then should provide the email address at the, then we should give the password, and they will give an command to rewrite the password to confirm. Then run the server using python manage.py run server command. Click on the link, then we could see welcome to Polsa in the index page. Then we should go type the admin page, then we will enter, type the username and password in that. Then we could see the admin site like this. From the post directory create the question and select the add question choice, then type the question text as here I am writing how are you. Then the options to make the date. After that the question how are you added to the questions, then select choice, add choice. Then for that particular question select and given the choice text. Here I am giving like that fine, and you can give the choices like fine, not fine, anything as you wish. After that go to the home page of admin, then select the then log out. After that you could come back to the terminal or to the PyCharm editor. Now successfully created the admin, or we are creating the super user admin by using the username, password, all those things. Okay, till now we created the pulse up, then we created an template directory inside that index.html file we have created. After that after that we created the admin or the super user of the project also. Then now we have to combine the HTML files, that means the model classes question and choice. For that we have to combine these two things, so that we could start here like that. Just see, go to views.py of poll subdirectory, then in the index definition we have to define the object for the question class. Before that we could import the model class tables such as question and choice. After that we should define the object of both the classes. So first question object is equal to question dot objects dot all of, and to redirect the index.html to the question object we have to give the code like that. Inside the return command, give a flower bracket, inside that give the single quotes, and at that given a name for the question object to refer. Once it has completed, go to the index.html file, then insert the body. We have to give the uh, uh, redirection for the question object. For that, given the flower brackets, give the percentage sign, give the command like for q in qst. This is what we have given in the views.py of poll subdirectory. Inside that the this for loop should end. For that n for keyword is used. In between that we should give the command like a href, that's a hyperlink reference, that is we have given as hash. It is for the static file. It will stay at there itself, because that means the question object itself. In the question text variable which we have created early in the models.py of Paul subdirectory, we have copied that thing to the index.html page, that is the q.question text. Then only the hyperlink will get activated. Then come back to the terminal, click on the link, then you can get into the browser. There you can see the link such as how are you. How are you is the question tag which we given in the admin site. And now we combining the question and choice model classes with the HTML file. Okay, till here we had combined the questions to HTML like that. Next we are going to adding the choices to HTML. For that, let's see in the editor to combine the choices to HTML, like questions we combine with HTML. Let's start. Go to the polls folder in template directory. Right click on that, create new HTML file, choice.html, then select urls.py. After creating the choice.html, we have to select the urls.py folder. Insert that, we should give the path like path bracket opens, then single quotes int colon questions underscore id. Every question have an id for its uniqueness. Then define the method name like show choice. Previously we have defined. After that we will change all the codes in views.py of Paul subdirectory. Then come to the views.py file, then define the method for choice like show choice inside the bracket request given, then defining the function like so the parameter we have to given for the question. Then redefine the question object is equal to question dot objects dot. In the get method we have to given the questions id, that is the primary key. So that is the primary key in the question class. Then return render to redirect the choice.html folder to the question object. Choices.html comma, in the flower bracket we have to mention the choice with question object. Reformat the things, then we have to we have to set the choice object, it is like that objects only, question dot objects itself. Sorry for the then we done that. Then we have to edit the choice.html page. In the title we have given choice dot the question text, that is a variable. Just for a reference we have given like this. After that inside the body tag we are creating the h1 tag, with double open of flower brackets, then choice dot question text. This is for the reference. It will take the value of choice and question there. Then we have to start the for loop for the listing of choices. For that, open the for loop for C in choice. Then we have to mention the end for the for loop, like that end for inside the flower brackets and between the modulo symbol. After that, define the list. Inside the list, we have to give the input type of the choices. So the list are given in the radio button model. Then type is equal to radio. After that, we have to mention the name is equal to choice, then its value. The value should be mentioned in the double flower brackets with c.id. That for every question they have to one choice. For that, we have to mention the id with the radio button. Okay, we have to set the counter. Then we have done. After that, mention the label. For loop counter, that is c dot choice. After that, go to the models.py file of the pulse app. Make all changes with the variables and the objects corresponding to the choice.html page and the index.html page, then the views.py file of the pulse app directory. So here we have to change certain changes with the for loop in the choice dot choice underscore set dot all. This is for selecting all the choices from the choice list. Then run the server. Okay, run the server. Click on the link. How are you? That is the question in the from the database, and we have to get the list. Once we enter into the how are you, it is not going because we have given in the given the static for the hreflang. So in the hreflang we have to mention the path of the file. The link has to go when we click in it. That is show choices is the method for the choice.html page with correspond to the index.html. So in index.html we have to mention the hreflang as show choices. That is the method in views.py with the q.id question id. Then run the server. Okay, now we get an error with the question id, so we have to change certain somewhere we mention questions.id, so we have to change from the views.py, change it into the questions.id. okay, it's correct. Then come to the models.py, urls.py. okay, here it is that question id, so change it, refresh, click on the name. Again we get the error, so we have to mention the path correctly, because in the template file choice.html is under the subdirectory of polls, so we have to given polls backslash then the choice.html. now run. Yes, it's now working. Okay, but it's not properly working For that, we have to check the choice.html file with the radio button and the h1 tags and all. For that, inside the body, we have changed the end for loop and the for loop starting. Inside the body tag, we have to give an h1 tag which we have deleted, so rewrite it with the open flower brackets. Then choice dot question id, that that is a question variable, question.txt. Okay, now it's working, and we have selected the find option or the find choice for the question how are you. Then come back to the editor, and here we combined the choice to the HTML page. So till now we combine both the model classes question and choice with HTML page. Till now we have completed the binding of model classes such as question and choices to the HTML page. Then we need to do the votes in the polsa which we have created. As the polsa is successfully created, then let's see how the votes will do in this polls app. For that, create a form in the choice.html which we have already created in the templates directory. That is inside the body tag. After the h1 tag, we define the form in the form tag. So inside the body, let's give form tag and the end tag of form. Inside the form tag, just define the method. Two types of methods are there, post and get. So here we define the post method with action URL voted. Voted is the function which we will create it in the views.py of the poll sub directory. So we just given like an URL. After that, after the for loop, end of for loop, give the submit button. That is in input tag. Input type is equal to in double quotes submit, value is equal to in double quotes vote. After that, along with the label tag, you should mention in the flower brackets c dot votes. That is to redirect the things to that choice.html page. After that, come to the urls.py, then given the path to redirect the result to the water definition. Okay, after that, come back to the views.py, just define the voted method. Voted method is to indicate the things once we voted in the polls app, the things will go to the database of the voted. For that, we are defining the voted method here. Okay, def voted inside the bracket request and question id as parameters of the voted function. Then mention the if request dot method is equal to post. Here we define the post method. So checking with the post method with the if function, question object is equal to question dot obj. This is the objects keyword, question dot objects dot. In the get method, we should define the primary key and question id. Primary key as question id. Okay, then raise an exceptional case with the try block. Insert that, create an object for the choice choice class. Then get object of 404. 404 is an error which where the page is not detected. So mention the choice class and the primary key of the choice class. Then given the exceptional block like return HTTP response, please select a option. This will HTTP response is to display what we want to display on the screen browser. Then give the else statement choice object dot votes is equal to that plus 1. Then the save the contents of choice dot object to the choice database. So the choice table in the database of Polsa. Then redirect the choice.html page along with the choice object, that is we are using render request polls choice.html, then choice with question obj. Then give the return statement as the render request poll slash choice.html. Then run the server. We will get the link. On that link we can vote. That's a forbidden error. It shows that we are given in the exceptional case for not for error. To escape from that error, we should define under the form method the CSRF token we have to given. The CSRF token is to make the security or ensure the security of a project. That means the password and username will not come along with the URLs or the path. Okay, this is what has to be done in the Pulse app. Okay, finally we will deal with the choice. Actually, once the votes and questions and choice admin everything is completed, creation of all these things is completed, we have to select the choice with effective voting manner, so that in this tutorial I will tell with you how the choice will be set. For that, initially let's run the server, python manage.py, run server, click on the link, then it will go to the browser, then redirect the page to admin page, give the username and password with that login, then select the art choice, give the question on that, select the choice text, then save it. After that, go to the polls, then select the question, then select the choice select the option of art question, give the question, update the date and time, then save it. Then you have to come back to the polls, then select the choices. For that particular question you could set the choices like multiple choices you can give. Then come back to the home and log out it, go back to the index page, then you can see the questions that we have given that we have created in the database. So select the second question and select an option, vote it. Then you can see the votes, number of votes are changing when we are updating after every voting. Yes, this is the voting session, and the and our output of this polls up is this itself. So till now we have created the votes okay guys, here our project got end and we got the output, and we could vote now through our polls which we are created in the Python using the Django framework. So let's go through the steps till now we follow, just like an outline. I would like to share, or I would like to rewind that the steps we have done. That is, we first create the Django app by installing the Python, then by entering to the PyCharm editor. Then we uh, start the project, or we create the project with my site name, and in that open the terminal. From there we start the project by using the Django -admin start project my site command. After that we got the my site directory with certain files, and we saw that the purpose of each Python files in that my site. Then we run the server using the command python manage.py run server. From that we could see the successful installation of Python. After that we started to create the Pulse app. Then the Pulse app is mainly to we have to work at there. Then to create the Pulse app, we did the command python manage.py startup polls. After that in the polls we got many files as it is as it we got in the my site folder. Then we create our first view in polls views.py file. After that we set all the paths in urls.py file in the polls. Then we check the code by running the browser using the run server command. Then mainly okay, I forgot to remember you that the path command, when we given into that urls.py, the view indicates that Django finds a matching pattern when it called the specified view function with an HTTP request object as the first argument from the keyword arguments. Then there is something like that name we will given in the path. That is another argument to naming our URL to refer to it ambiguously from elsewhere in Django framework, especially from within the templates. So this is a powerful feature, allows us to make global changes to the URL patterns of our project. Okay, that's all. Then we move to the second part of the Django app creation. Then there we set up all the database, and database we deals with the models.py in the application polls subdirectory. For every changes we have done to the model class, we use the command python manage.py migrate. After that, make migrations are done to create the models and to activate the models, and we use the foreign key and the instant fields, etc., key fields, like that way. So in the settings.py file of my site directory, we contribute all the apps we are created in the project. Then if you have do any changes to the model class, you should run the command make migration python manage.py make migration. Then the SQL migrate command takes migration names and return the SQL. For that, we use the command python manage.py SQL migrate polls. After that, we playing with the API by creating the templates and all. Template is the Django system service. Then we introducing the Django admin by creating the super user by using the command python manage.py create super user, and we given the username, password, email address, and we confirm the password of admin. Then the super user get successfully created. Then we enter into the admin page. After that, we deal with all the functionalities at the, and we, after the, then in the part 3 we customize the admin page, yeah, admin page. Then we write the more views with corresponding to the question and choice classes, model classes that we created with the database setup. So we saw that render uh, is used for to redirect the pages with the index page by using the objects of class models. Then in the part 4 we did all the editing in the views.py function in the pol subdirectory, and we did all the changes to the redirection and paths urls.py file. Then um, then we do all the configuration settings. um, then go to the second, the fifth part. We tested the uh, poll we tested the codes with corresponding to the admin sites, and we updated the things in the admin page. So um, the the questions and choices we have updated, and that we could see when the admin page when run. Finally, we enter into the index page, and from that we will get a question, and that question is a link that redirect to the choice.html page. In that choice page you have a list of choices. Then you can select the particular choices corresponding to that question. So you from there itself you can see the changes updated to the database. These all are the PolSub or application in Python by using the Python using Django framework. Hope you all understand the video, and you can clarify your doubts and keep in touch. Thank you.